Now, it's a staggering statistic, but no babies have been born in hospitals in the Kirklees area of West Yorkshire for more than a year. The midwife-led birth centre in Huddersfield closed in 2020 and the one in Dewsbury closed last May. It means longer journeys for new parents who have to go to Wakefield or Halifax instead. So why has this happened? Cathy Killick has been finding out.
Happy, healthy and engaged, the babies and toddlers supported by the newly registered HappyMOMents charity are tapping into a growing network of young families in Kirklees. Over 1,000 women are in the network, so they're just the people to ask about maternity provision, or rather lack of it, in their area.
We've had a lot of messages from mums that they're struggling with travelling out of Kirklees, and the struggle is the anxiety behind having to travel out to Pinderfields or Halifax because it's such a long journey, and especially when you're going through labour.
Before the pandemic, women in Kirklees could take their pick of 4 hospitals to give birth. Calderdale Royal in Halifax, Huddersfield Royal Infirmary, the Bronte Birthing Centre in Dewsbury and Pinderfields in Wakefield. Now, Huddersfield Royal and the Bronte Centre have effectively been mothballed, so expectant mothers face long journeys. It's especially galling as the state-of-the-art centre in Dewsbury was opened less than 10 years ago to smiles all round. What's gone wrong is a chronic shortage of midwives.
It's really important to people in Batley and Spen and across Kirklees that they don't have that personal choice taken away from them. But ultimately we are dealing with over a decade, in my view, of mismanagement of the NHS, which has led to these local services being cut from people's lives, and that's just not good enough.
The government says it's investing £165 million a year to grow the maternity workforce, and it's also offering thousands more training places. And its long-term workforce plan announced recently should also help. But in the here and now, this birthing unit remains closed for women in labour, with no timetable for it to reopen to take those births.
I do feel like we are forgotten, this forgotten area that's 400 odd kilometres square, that we are just invisible. So yeah, I'm sad for the women in North Kirklees and Kirklees in general, because obviously Huddersfield shut as well. So yeah, it's just sad. It's just a waste.
Very disappointed Amy Jane Beale ending that report there. So what is behind the shortage of maternity staff? Lynn Galvin is from the Royal College of Midwives. She explained why there aren't enough staff for these centres.
It's as a result of a decade of underfunding by the government in maternity services. And that's a real concern to us. We've been lobbying the government for a number of years, and we estimate that there are 2,500 midwives short still.
There was a workforce rise between 2019 and 2023 of 14% in the NHS, but only 1% of midwives. So why do people not want to join?
Over a number of years, there's been low student midwife places. That has been increased recently, but it takes 3 years to train a midwife, so it takes that length of time to get them into service. And then what we have been finding is that when they get into service, there's a lack of support because there's a lack of qualified midwives in service. So they've been reconsidering their career at the point that they enter the service. They turn up on a shift and they might start work in one area and then are moved to another area. They work often through breaks. They finish late, and we did a survey of our members in March of this year. We asked them to tell us what it was like to work in maternity services for 1 week in March, and they told us that they were working hours and hours without pay. So we estimate that across England, in that week, midwives worked 100,000 hours without pay.
The government says it's given £165 million of additional investment per year to grow the maternity workforce. Will that address the issues that you've just addressed?
It will. It will go some way to addressing them. The NHS workforce plan has clearly indicated that there is a commitment to fund midwives moving into the future. So that's really welcomed by the Royal College of Midwives. But what we need to make sure is that services are looking to retain experienced staff. So we need to make sure that they're putting in plans flexible working, and we need to make sure that there's career development and they invest in training for midwives.
Lynn Galvin, thanks for your time.
Thank you.